Hi, I'm Susanna. I am a former certified financial planner who was made redundant, and I felt like I was kicked out of the material world of money. And that plunged me down the rabbit hole of exploring our relationship with money from a spiritual and metaphysical and energetic place. Now, I use the wisdom that I've learned in both of those seemingly competing realities to support me as I travel the journey towards home ownership in one of the most expensive cities in the world, Melbourne, Australia. So if that's of interest to you, stick around. Today's video, I'm going to talk about my 3 financial goals for 2019. Okay, so today I want to share my 3 top financial goals for 2019. And I gotta be honest, I'm a little nervous about sharing this because I've never, this might be the first video you're watching or that you may have seen me before, but I don't think I've ever shared this level of intimacy around my own financial goals. And there's a reason I'm doing it. I think it's so inspiring. All these people that are on the internet sharing about their debt-free journeys. It's amazing. But I'm like, I'm not in debt, and I haven't been in debt aside from when I was at university, and then when I had a mortgage before. Like, I'm not in debt, I'm saving. And debt can be like this long slog where you feel like you're paying it off for years and years and years, but so can saving. Saving can feel like it's this slog where you're just years and years and years, especially if you're saving towards a big goal like a home deposit. So I'm like, let's see if we can get some community happening. Let's see if we can get some conversation and some support for each other around this really, really important topic, especially as housing prices, whilst they may have come off the boil a little bit, at least where I live, they are soaring. They are absolutely soaring. So I'm sharing my top 3 goals. And yes, spoiler alert, one of them relates to saving for a home deposit. But before I start sharing, I actually want to just tell you a little bit about myself so you have a bit of context. Clearly not an Australian accent, but currently living in Melbourne, Australia. I actually moved to Australia in 2003 and I was living in Perth, but now I'm in Melbourne. And before I left Perth, I was actually doing quite well financially. I had a very middle-class income working in my own business. But moving from Perth to Melbourne, I experienced a lot of knocks, okay? A lot of shocks, and it affected my business. It was hard for me to get some traction and get moving and get income happening here. And so after about a year of using my savings and being a bit over it, I decided that's it, I'm gonna get a job. So I got a job, I started trading some of my hours for money, and in a financial planning arena where I work with 2 amazing financial advisors. I really like them. After a while, I was no longer satisfied just having a job that covered my expenses. I needed to feel like I was moving forward. So I took on some additional work that's not trading time for money, but actually trading talent for money. So I have contract work that I do that enables me to earn money by doing like a job. So I get paid by the job, not by the hour. And I have a talent. It's very similar work to what I do in my job, but I have a talent for that. I can do that. So that's using my talent, using my skills, and I like it. I actually like it. So, and I get to work from home. So I go 1 day a week into the office for my job, trading time for money. And then the other day I work from home, and then I can do up to 3 days of additional work for contract work. So that's what I'm up to. I also wanted to tell you, just in terms of context, that I have a partner who I live with, and he works full-time. My goals, my top 3 financial goals for 2019. Number 1 is to save 10% of my after-tax income from my job. Save 10%. That is for the long term. So I'm putting that aside towards my long term, like retirement. Like I put that aside. I don't touch that as my number 1 goal. My number 2 goal is to save $1,600 per month towards home ownership. My number 3 goal is to save, by the end of the year, $10,000 so that I can purchase a late model, like a late, nearly new but not new car. Actually, I want the little MG3. It's so cute, little hatchback. So those are my three goals. And just to tell you about the third one, I have already put aside 2,200 towards that goal. So I have another 7,800 to go. And I estimate that over the year, if I put aside $650 per month, I will have my 10,000 by the end of the year. And then I can purchase a new car, and it'll be more than 10. But once I sell mine, I should be square. And if not, I'll just keep saving a little bit longer until I am. So those are my top three financial goals for 2018. They are all savings goals. You might ask, Susanna, do you have an income goal? What about your income goal? And I'm like, yes, I do have an income goal, but it's not my top goal because my income goal supports my savings goals. But even if I don't hit my income goal, can I still hit my savings goal? And that's the kind of exciting part. And yes, there may be other goals that come out as the year progresses. There may be other things that are on the cards, but as it stands right now, these are my three most important goals. In reflecting on these goals, I realized I'm stacking them. What do I mean by that? I did not go from having zero savings capacity to saving that much per month, because that seems like a lot. And you might be listening to this, not saving much and going, yeah, right, unrealistic. I could never do that. But maybe you could start similar place to where I was when I started and just start with 10% or even 5%. The point is, get started. So what I did was I started saving 10% in February 2017. So I've had that goal anchored for nearly 2 years. And then because for a while it was acceptable to me that okay, I'm moving ahead, I'm saving 10%. And then after a while, it was no longer acceptable to me to just be saving 10%. I was like, no, I need to be moving ahead further than that. That is with my financial planning cap on, you got to be preparing for the future. And I realized that I was sick and tired of having given up the goal of home ownership. So we started saving towards a house. Well, in fact, we started saving 2 years ago. I want to explain that. So 2 years ago, my partner and I opened up a joint savings account, and we both started putting $1,600 a month in. And you might be asking, but Susanna, you said you weren't saving $1,600 a month. I wasn't. He was, because he had a job and he had the capacity to do that, but I didn't have the capacity. So what did I do? Every month, I just moved $1,600 from one savings account to the other savings account. And that was acceptable for me for a while, until it wasn't anymore. And I decided, no, I need to be saving this money as well. It became crucial to me. So I went out and found more income sources so that I could, or source, which is contract work, so that I could save that. And it has worked. So for the past 6 months, I've done that consistently every month, and that feels amazing. So now it's starting to feel anchored in, that I have that second goal in place. It's still my goal, but it's in place. So now I'm starting to add in that third goal around a new car or late model car. I have a great car. I love my little Peugeot, but it's 10 years old. I call it my go-kart. I love my little go-kart. It's cute. It gets me around. No major problems. But I know it's not going to last forever because it's 10 years old. And so wanting to be aligned with my philosophy about not taking on car debt, a car loan, paying for it in cash and secondhand, I am looking at an MG3. I really want to share with you how I plan to achieve these goals, because it's great to have a goal, and you can I hope you can hear that I'm excited about those goals and that they mean something to me, like having a safe car with an existing warranty that's going to continue for another 5 or 6 years once I buy it. That means a lot to me. Having a house that's my own that I can pay off. So with our housing loan, our housing goal, we actually have been saving for 2 years. As I said, I've been saving for 6 months. He's been saving for 2 years. We've been saving for 2 years. And we estimate we're about 2 years away from reaching that goal. 2 years, people, away. This is a slog. And if anybody would like it, I would love to make a video another day talking about the difference between just putting the minimum deposit on a home loan versus putting 20% deposit, putting enough that you don't have to pay the lender's mortgage insurance, like the insurance that is just this extra charge that the bank charges you that gives you nothing, and like explaining the difference there, because I think a lot of people don't even realize that that's a thing. And then they just like say 5% or 10% and get into home ownership maybe a bit abruptly. So I want to tell you how I plan on achieving my goals. And my goals are to save 10% of my JOB income, to save $1,600 a month towards my house deposit, and to save $10,000 by the end of the year for a little cute little MG3 in electric blue. So how am I going to achieve these goals? What is my plan? The first thing is, each week when I get paid from my JOB income, I immediately transfer 10% into my savings account. And I do keep a spreadsheet where I've broken down the components of my savings account, what they are, what I'm saving for. So that's my 10% long-term investment. I don't touch that. The only thing I do with that is use it to buy investments, which is another video for another day. So there's that. As soon as I get paid and I have the $1,600 sufficient, I transfer that into my joint savings account. And as soon as I get paid and I have the money, I transfer it into my savings account for the car. So that's how I plan on like logistically doing it. But I need to get that income to be able to do that. So what's my plan for that? You know, we live in a world where you just can't assume your income is going to keep coming in, whether you're earning it because you're trading your time for money, whether you're earning it because you're trading your talent for money, like working in your own small business and you're structuring it and, you know, you have clients or whatever you do, or whether you're earning it through trading value for money and like leveraged income or passive income. However you're earning your money, there are no guarantees. You know, there's not a lot of guarantees, right? Most of the ways we earn income are not guaranteed. And so my plan around helping to ensure that I reach that goal is to absolutely commit to doing the best that I can in my job and in my contract work. I enjoy what I do. I like what I do. I mainly work from home. I'm very self-motivated around it, but I got to do a good job. Girls got to produce the results to keep that income flowing in. So that is a commitment that I have to myself and to the people that give me money in exchange for my time and my talent. Also, super important, and I can really feel this coming into 2019, how important it is for me to think about how I look after myself. You know, you got to look after the goose or you won't keep getting the golden eggs. And so for me, looking after myself is about sleep. It's about my morning practice, my evening practice. It's about the food that I eat, the water that I drink. So that's how I plan to achieve my goal, looking after myself, looking after the goose that lays the golden eggs, doing my best to lay those golden eggs, and putting the money away right away when I get it into my savings. And for me, the idea of taking that money out of savings is the equivalent of like borrowing money, like on a credit card. Like in my mind, if I had to take that money out of my savings for any reason, I would just be in debt because I'd have to pay it back. Like that's my level of commitment around my savings. And I think it's really important to have that level of commitment around our savings. So before I sign off, I just want to share with you one last thing, and it's that I had an awareness. And I was like exploring, you know, why am I so nervous about sharing these goals publicly on the internet? And part of that was that obviously the fear of being judged. What are people going to think of me? Are they going to think my goals are too amazing? Are they going to think my goals are pathetic? What are they going to think about me? And then part of it was this like, what if I don't reach my goal? And I told the internet I have a goal and then I don't reach it. And like, what if I get a challenge that's too much for me to handle? And I have had challenges that have been a lot to handle. So I know all about that. Well, maybe not all about that, but I know a bit about that. What am I going to do? And you know what really helped me was reminding myself that my jobs are not the source of the good in my life. They're not the source of my income. And my income is not the source of all the good in my life. And whilst I think it's really important and critical if we want to move ahead financially to have goals and have a strong level of commitment to those goals, I also think it's really important to have a certain level of non-attachment to those goals. Like if I meet those goals, that's great. Talking about those goals is exciting, but should something happen along the way that's different, that's worse, that's better, that's okay too. So as I sit right here, it's January 4th, 2019. This is how I can perceive things going well. But if there's another plan in store for me, I have to be willing to accept that. And with that, there's a kind of a relaxation for me where I'm like, okay, it's okay. Calm down. You know, do what you can and be ready for life, because one thing about life is it always surprises us. So I hope this video has helped you to think about your goals for 2019. So until next time, keep poppin'.